Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We want to seek the blessings of Radha Madhava, Radha Shyam Sundar Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gauritai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So we've looked at different aspects of Sanatan Dharma. We looked at the scriptures, what is Sanatan Dharma in the first place, and the time factor. We looked at Ishwara. We looked at Jiva and the three modes of material nature. Now, how do we get out of this material world? And this is important to understand. How do we transcend the three modes of material nature? And it is described that the 9 processes of bhakti are very, very helpful for us to engage in practice and come out of this material world. So we will look at different yoga systems later, but I wanted to focus on bhakti because bhakti is regarded to be the fastest and most pleasurable way to associate with the Lord. So what are these 9 processes of bhakti? Shravanam, hearing. Maharaj Parikshit. And Shravanam basically means that we hear the glories of the devotees and the glories of the Lord. This is regarded to be very powerful process of bhakti. You know, if there is a burglar in the middle of the night, the eyes may not have the potency to see that burglar because it's dark, but we might hear the burglar because it is the sound that will wake us up. So this is the point about hearing. It can wake us up. With our eyes, we don't have divine eyes. So we may not be able to appreciate the subtleties of spirituality. But when we hear, especially when we hear from the correct source, then our divine, our divinity can be awakened. Yes, Naniman.
Yes, Prabhuji. Now, hearing about the glories, I sort of, is it equivalent to reading something or what is reading like as you do Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita? Or, is it equivalent?
Yes, yes, yes. And by reading, if you're reading carefully, it's as good as hearing.
Okay.
Yes. One and the same. It's one and the same. But if we are not reading with attention, then it may not be so powerful. Even like if we're not hearing with attention, it may not be so powerful. But if you're reading with, like at a time when you're alert and, trying to understand, that is very good. That is counted as Shravanam. Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, where do we hear about the glories of the Supreme, apart from the books?
Classes for devotees.
Okay.
That's
The lectures.
lectures. Yeah. Lectures. Even, they have the audio books of the Bhagavatam or Krishna book. Listening to that is very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Okay.
Yeah. Hearing is very, very good, especially when you hear from, there are always going to be a few people where you hear them and you think, wow, they actually, hit the spot. They when they speak, like I remember Guru Maharaj used to hit the spot, and it really, you remember it forever. You never forget it because he's made that point, which is so important, so deep that it touches the heart, and one of those points, I remember many, but one of them is do it while you can, do the bhakti while you can, because later in your life, when you are, incapacitated, you will regret not making the effort earlier. So that has always driven me to, sometimes we go to 3 or 4 schools a day. And, you sometimes think, why do I bother? But actually, why? Because let's do it while I can, because later on, who knows what can happen to the body? The body is so fickle. At any moment, the body can just, take a turn for the worse. Like this morning, I woke up with a cold and feeling a little bit shaky, and so the body can go at any moment, but we got to make the effort. So comments like that, when you hear those, it really touches the heart and it drives you. It can even drive you for the rest of your life. Just one comment from a devotee can make um, a whole difference in your life, can transform one's life. This is why hearing is so powerful,
Yeah.
especially from devotees, pure devotees. So, is that okay?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you. Madhuben?
Yes, it just hearing means listening, I know, and not only article. I think is sometimes you hear, go in the kirtan, or you
Yes.
are doing work in
Yes.
some chanting going
Yes.
on.
Yes. Yes.
This
Yes.
this all goes
Yes.
is a
Absolutely.
hearing, isn't it? So good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hearing kirtan, very important. Yes, very good.
Thank
Hearing
you.
patterns, very important. And like we're very fortunate in this day and age. At any moment, you can just pick up a YouTube and you will hear the bhajan, and you can be cooking, cleaning, doing anything, driving, and you can hear, still can hear. Very lucky, very, very fortunate.
Thank you. Anyway, thanks. Yeah.
And the person who perfected his life simply by hearing was Maharaj Parikshit. He spent the last days of his life hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that way, he became liberated, eligible to go back to the spiritual world. So just by this one thing, one of the processes, he perfected himself. So we don't have to do all 9 processes. We can just do one. Get really good at one. That's enough. This is the power of bhakti. So Shravanam, next is Kirtanam. And this is a verse spoken in the Bhagavad Gita by Prahlad Maharaj, isn't it? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So second is chanting, Kirtanam. So when we are singing, when we are speaking about Krishna, this is another way to become perfect, purified. So I have to say, I feel very fortunate because, like today, I was speaking for about 1, 2, 3, nearly 3 hours. I was speaking about, Krishna's pastimes or Nrsingadev's pastimes, holy, singing, and it is so feel so fortunate because he's allowing us to share Sanatan Dharma with others, who are very innocent, young children, and they really appreciate it. So it's a real blessing, And Praveen?
When you Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
when you said 3 hours, that means what? You are constantly talking with children?
No. First school was half an hour, and then
Yeah.
second school was another half an hour, and then third school was like 2 hours because I had a workshop for hour and a bit, hour and a half nearly, and then I had a half an hour assembly. So
Oh.
it's like I think in total we probably spoke to about 800 students today. So it was really good. Loads
And
of
it's just constant talking about the
talking
Hare
about
Krishna,
Holi.
yeah?
Yeah, talking about
Okay.
Holi, why we celebrate Holi, and then we talk about Nrsingadev and Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu, the Leela of why Nrsingadev appeared and why we celebrate Holi.
All right.
And then we talked about the colors, how Krishna started this tradition 5,000 years ago. And then we chant the Mahamantra. So
Good.
that's so good. Yeah, it's
And
so
this is every day?
yeah, every weekday. Yesterday I was at 2 schools. Tomorrow, no, yesterday was 3 schools as well. Tomorrow is 2 schools. So every day, tomorrow is again about 2.5 hours tomorrow.
Right.
So it's a blessing.
Lot of blessings to you.
No, thank you. Thank you. Your good wishes, blessings are important. Now, it's good because when you speak about the Lord, also, you're talking to yourself. So it's, I have a long way to go. And this speaking actually helps me on my way as well, because I'm listening to it as well. So,
good.
Yeah, so that I can become better, because we are in a very precarious situation. And Kali Yuga is tough. So the more we hear ourselves even talking about God is good.
Yeah. As you talk with us, we like listening you too.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So who perfected his life? Well, Shukadev Goswami. He spoke the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. And this was not just a conversation, not just that Shukadev Goswami was speaking. It was a challenge. Maharaj Parikshit was challenging Shukadev Goswami. Anything he did not understand, he would say to Sukadeva, wait a minute, Sukadeva Goswami, I do not understand this point. Can you explain this better? Because I am not agreeing with you. So it's a conversation between two great personalities for our sake, actually, because that Bhagavatam is very good for us. But Sukadeva Goswami perfected his life simply by speaking the Bhagavatam. And then the third process, these are the two wonderful personalities, Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And in this arena, if we look, there's Narad Muni, there's Vyasdev. Vyasdev was the father of Shukadev Goswami and also the guru of Shukadev Goswami. And Narad Muni is the guru of Vyasdev, but they were sitting in the audience. And the student was speaking because the student was so elevated. He was very qualified to speak to Parikshit Maharaj. So this was a massive arena where great sages gathered, and these two just took away the show, carried away the show. It was amazing. Shravanam Kirtan Vishnu Smaranam, remembering. And this is what is so good about Holi and the spring term, because I'm able to remember Prahlad Maharaj every single day. He never forgot Krishna or Vishnu, despite constant torment from his father, the soldiers, Holika, his auntie. But throughout, he would not forget the Lord, always remembering the Lord. But even more amazingly, he never even considered anybody was against him. He's such a powerful devotee. He never considered his father his enemy, the soldiers as enemy, his auntie Holika as his enemy. This is Mahabhagavat. And if we look at the lives of Chaitanya, Gadadhar Pandit, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, the one person that they would constantly talk about, apart from Krishna and the Supreme Lords, was Prahlad. They would always be talking about Prahlad. Prabhupada spent so much time describing the qualities of Prahlad. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar, they would sit in Jagannath Puri and they would talk about Prahlad again and again and again and again and again. He's one of the most incredible personalities. He's a Mahabhagavat, but he was such a young fellow, a young boy. But yet, he had such faith in Lord Vishnu that the torment of his father, he would think, oh, my father's just playing with me. They put him in a pit of snakes. They're just playing with me. He never considered anybody an enemy. He was equal to his, to his friends and his enemy. He didn't consider anybody his enemy. So his life is something that we can use as an example how to live, because he's such an amazing personality. And when I describe this to the children, because what he did, Prahlad Maharaj, he changed the world from a place of hatred and violence to a place of love and peace. And he did it so simply. He did it because he was able to remember God. So when we talk to the children, we also explain to them that you can also change this world into a better place. Because by you becoming better, you will have that impact on everybody around you. So improve. We always want to improve ourselves, get better and better, develop really good qualities where we respect people, we help people, we show our gratitude to those who help us. And the children, they're very receptive. So he's such an example, Prahlad Maharaj, to the whole world. You just cannot say enough to glorify Prahlad Maharaj. And that's why these great saints and the Lord even was so in awe of Prahlad Maharaj. Such an amazing personality. And he constantly remembered, no matter what situation, he would just remember the Lord. Constantly. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That was his mantra. That was given to him by Narad Muni, or it was given to him via his mother. And he never forgot that mantra. And we also chant that mantra when we are with the children. And it's amazing how they pick it up very quickly. So, Shravanam, Ketanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, serving the Lord's lotus feet. And the perfect person who has served the Lord in terms of his lotus feet is Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune. She's always engaged in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an amazing personality. Then fifth one is Mudiri worship, Archanam. Then the perfect devotee who perfected his life is Maharaj Prithu, who's actually also Shaktivesh avatar. He used all of his royal possessions in order to offer them in pure devotion to the Lord. So we are very lucky because I think everybody here will have an altar at home. And the Lord will give us an opportunity to every day do some seva, do an arti. This arti is so important. Every day we thank the Lord, we show our appreciation to him. There's many meanings to arti, but the external meaning is that we are showing our gratitude to God for the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat. Through the arti ceremony, we are thanking him for everything he's providing to us in this world so that we can maintain ourselves and try to improve our bhakti. So this archanam is very important because even if we spend 5, 10, 15 minutes doing this deity worship, it will make our day successful, purify our day, and at the same time we are showing our appreciation to the great Lord. And that's very important because the one thing that is lacking in this world is, we just take everything for granted. We take our parents for granted, we take our children for granted, we take our situation for granted. But we should understand this is all provided to us by the Supreme Lord, and we should be grateful not just to the Lord, but all those people around us who are making our lives, pleasant. So very important to show this gratitude And this deity worship is showing our gratitude to the Lord and trying to connect with him in a very personal way. So one-to-one, you offer arti, there's no third person involved. It's just you and the Lord. And you are pointing the ghee lamp at the Lord, and in a nice, like in a very humble way, thanking him and begging him, please engage me in your seva. Let me constantly be attached to you. So this is Prithu Maharaj here. And when he became king, Lord Shiva came and presented this item to him, sword by the looks of it. Even Vishnu was present at that time when he was made the king. Very famous personality in the Bhagavad Puran. His life is given. And he offered everything to the Lord through this archana, deity worship. And then Vandanam, prayer. Vandanam, Akrur is the example. He offers prayers to Krishna, especially when he was traveling from Mathura to go to Vrindavan in order to see Krishna. When he was traveling, he saw the lotus feet of the Lord, and he was in great awe and reverence. When he was traveling to Vrindavan, he was really completely absorbed in this union with the Supreme Lord in Vrindavan. He could have gone to Mathura, Vrindavan, much earlier, but he never did because of many reasons, a lot of it political reasons. But when Kamsa said to him, I want you to go and invite Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, he knew the motive behind why Kamsa wanted to do that, to destroy Krishna and Balaram. But he also knew Krishna and Balaram are the Supreme Lord. You cannot do anything. So he took great pleasure in going to Vrindavan, and he offered amazing prayers. Somewhere we have analyzed, yes, there is, how to approach Vrindavan. So these are the prayers. Go with a heart of devotion. Right? There should be nothing left in the heart except, my dear Lord, I am really looking forward to coming to your Vrindavan. Feeling very fortunate to be able to go to Vrindavan. It's not an easy thing to be able to go to Vrindavan, even in Vrindavan in this world. Feeling unqualified. We have really no right to go. By the mercy of that Guru and the devotees, I'm able to go. And we offer thanks to all those who have made it possible for us to go to Vrindavan. Remember all the people who helped us to go to Vrindavan, including Air India. Glorify the Lord's lotus feet. So we say different prayers, especially from the Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Pakarasadma Sukalpa Vaksha, so on. Meditate on his form and his pastimes. Focus on Krishna's beauty. Appreciate Krishna's beauty. And only do Krishna Katha. No gossip, no politics. So this is a very nice way, especially when you're going to Vrindavan. And offering a base, as soon as you get there, you down on the floor, offering your full dandavats to Vrindavan and the Lord's lotus feet. So this is a nice example of prayers. Akrur was the one who did these prayers and this mood of how to approach Vrindavan. Seventh is serving as a servant, Dasyam. And of course, the greatest servant of the Lord is Hanuman, the most intimate servant of Ramachandra, executed all of Lord Ramachandra's orders despite all kinds of difficulties. And this is our position, we're servant. And of course, in the spiritual world, in the material world, servant is a very demeaning position. But in the spiritual world, the servant is higher than the master. And the reason is because the servant, he doesn't want anything back from the master, from Krishna. And because he doesn't want anything back from Krishna, this makes Krishna very much obliged to that servant. So obliged that Krishna, will do anything for that servant. And the example is Radharani. The example is the gopis. Krishna would say to the gopis, I cannot repay my debt to you because of your wonderful service. I cannot repay you. This is the position of the Lord becomes a servant actually of the devotee. Of course, we don't want him to become our servant. We want to serve him. But this is the transcendental interaction between the Lord and his devotees. The Lord will never make one feel inferior. He will interact with his devotee in such a sweet, loving way. Like there's nobody else in the world except you. And this is Krishna's how he behaves towards his devotee. There's nobody more important than you. You become the center of his life. So, and Hanuman, this is one of the most amazing pictures, the Ram Darbar. Hanuman is there at the lotus feet, always at the lotus feet, under the hand of Krishna, Rama. Next one is Sakyam, serving as a friend. And the example is Arjun, who was so close to Krishna that Krishna offered himself to become his chariot driver and served Arjun. This is the point. This is the point. When one becomes his devotee, Krishna will do anything. As a chariot driver, it's a very low position. It's a position of Shudra, because the charioteer will be kicking the driver. If he wants to go right or left, he'll kick him in a certain way. So the charioteer knows, chariot driver knows where to go. So actually, it's a very demeaning position. But Krishna took that position for Arjun because he loves Arjun. And Krishna will do anything for his devotee. So he served Arjun and his brothers in so many different ways. So this is an example of this point here, that the servant becomes higher than the master, although he doesn't want to be. This is such an amazing painting. And finally, we have Atma Nivedanam, which is where one gives everything to the Lord. And the person who perfected his life by doing that was Bali Maharaj, who's actually born in a family of demons. Yet he recognized Vamandev when he came in his arena, who begged for 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj said, yes, no problem. But he expanded himself to cover the whole universe. And then eventually Bali Maharaj offered his own head to Vamandev. And Vamandev became very pleased with Bali Maharaj. So this complete surrender, of course, in this age of Kali is very hard, right? Sarva Dharma Parityaja, Krishna actually says in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the last verses, give up everything, give up all the different dharmas, just surrender unto me, I'll protect you. But we don't have such great faith, and it's very hard in this age of Kali Yuga to do that. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he gave us the Mahamantra. By chanting the Mahamantra, we can also get close to Krishna. And in due course of time, we give everything, surrender everything to the Lord. This is quite an amazing picture because Vamandev bound Bali Maharaj. And this is actually Prahlad Maharaj, who's calm, and he's talking to Bali Maharaj. Why did he bind him? Because he broke his promise. 3 steps of land, he only had 2 steps. He had only given 2 steps. And then Bali Maharaj was so intelligent, he said, okay, Vamandev, you can put your 3rd step on my head, which he did, and that pleased Vamandev. And this is the cleverness of the intelligence of the Matajis. Bali Maharaj's wife said, my husband is still in illusion. He thinks this is his head. He's offered you his head. That's because he's thinking it's his head, but it's not his head, it's your body. So the Matajis are always 1 step ahead. of the men. So, and then there's one person who actually perfected all of these 9 processes simultaneously, Ambarish Maharaj. So all of these different processes, Ambarish Maharaj had perfected. So he did all of them. Yeah, so I won't go back to that. And his story is given in the Bhagavatam. And here he is, Ambarish Maharaj. Okay. We'll carry on tomorrow because I wanted to talk about this Bhakti Lata Beach, which is very, very important. And we can do that tomorrow. We'll probably spend a whole session just talking about this because it's important we have planted this seed of bhakti in our heart. And now we need to make sure we protect, we water this plant so nicely that it ultimately reaches the goal, which is prema bhakti. And there's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a process how we can do that. So maybe not tomorrow, actually, because tomorrow I think my school ends very late and it's quite far from where we are now. So maybe tomorrow we won't be able to hold the class. Yeah, on Thursday is the next session. So I wanted Surinder, can you share anything? Share a few things.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad,
Krishna.
Prabhu, Dandavad Mataji, and Dandavad to all the Vaishnavas, Nitai Gaur Haribol. Yes, very interesting, Prabhu, yes, and just something as a refresher course for myself to remember. And yes, I've learned a lot. And yes, in a summary form, like these are the 9 processes of bhakti. And then Rupa Goswami summarizes and emphasizes on 5 main processes of bhakti as sadhu sangha, means we associate with devotees and hear Krishna Katha, and we get opportunity to serve the devotees like that. Sadhu sangha, and then Shravanam Kirtanam, that is hearing and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan Bhajan. And then third one is like listening Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavad Katha, Chaitanya Charitamrita Katha, etc. And Bhagavad Gita as well, yes, and all the scriptures as well. So reading from scriptures or listening someone reciting the scriptures, yes, third. And the fourth one is deity worship, yes, some puja, offering to the Lord. And the fifth one is to reside always in Mathura Vrindavan. So in various ways, like we may physically go to Mathura Vrindavan and do some worship there, or another one is going to the temple. Inside the temple, having darshan of the deity is Mathura Vrindavan. And also doing some worship at home. Edina grihe bhajana dekhi grihe te goloka bhaya. In one song, Srila Bhakti-Yoga Thakur, he says. So when we do some puja at home, chanting, hearing, and reading scripture, and some deity worship like that, offering to the Lord as well. So in this way, our home becomes Goloka Vrindavan. So, and then our heart to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra always and purify our heart. And in this way, invite our Goloka Vrindavan in our heart. So in this way, the 5 main. And then Srila Bhakti-Yoga Thakur, he even summarizes more. And he says, Namuruchi Jivedaya Vaishnav Seva. It comes down to 3. Now, Namuruchi, we should have taste for chanting and hearing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Namuruchi Jivedaya. Jivedaya means distribution of Krishna consciousness to other living entities, like Prabhu Nabhinandan is doing some preaching work in schools. So that's very nice, yes. Namuruchi Jivedaya and Vaishnav Seva, to serve the Vaishnavas and to associate with the Vaishnavas and serve the Vaishnavas in this way. So that is like that. We may try to practice some Krishna consciousness by grace of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava. This is our aspirations. Yes. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Nitai Gaur Haribol. Thank you.
Sharing that. Thank you so much, Surinder Prabhu. Always good to hear you. Anybody, any questions? Okay, we can stop there. Sanatan Dharma ki jai, Prema Bhakti ki jai.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask one question. Is recording stop now?
No. Shall I stop it? Shall I stop?
Yeah, stop it.
Okay.